Yeah, you read the title right. I believe that Skull and Bones is heading in the right direction throughout the rest of year 2 and hopefully a year 3 as well, despite the fact that a lot of players considered this game to be dead on arrival. Somehow, Skull and Bones isn't quite dead yet. The quick recap of the history of Skull and Bones is it was originally meant to be a online version of Black Flag, and then years later it was officially announced in 2017. Then it ended up in years of development hell, as a lot of us are aware of, and then it finally came out last year, 2024. Needless to say, the 2024 launch of Skull and Bones, after many years of waiting, like a decade, and hundreds of millions of dollars spent on this game and it being scrapped and restarted over and over again, it was seen as a very underwhelming game. Skull and Bones wasn't exactly off to the best start. At the time, I didn't feel like Skull and Bones was worth $70 US, but despite the criticisms, the negative reviews, Ubisoft Singapore was not deterred. They continued working hard behind the scenes, listening to the small but active, loyal community that they had established with Skull and Bones, the things they liked, the things they didn't like regarding Skull and Bones at the time, and continued to work on the game with a year 1 plan, which rolled out throughout 2024, including 4 bosses: La Peste, the Hubert twins, Lia Ning, and Vikram, aka The Shadow. Also added throughout year 1 were several variations of sea creatures, the Megalodon, Tylosaurus, as well as Chinese dragons. We got 4 DLC ships to add to our ever-growing fleet: Bark, Brig, Battle Junk, as well as the Garuda, along with various other quality of life improvements, events, weapons, furniture, the ability to salvage weapons and furniture and armor that we didn't want for materials, expanding the size of our warehouses, the ability to fast travel to events, as well as when players call for help, ship upgrades, various cosmetics, and more. Somehow Skull and Bones managed to survive year 1. And to the surprise of many, a year 2 for Skull and Bones was announced. And so far, so good. Year 2 Season 1 included the addition of a tier system: World Tier 1 for beginner or casual players, and World Tier 2 for players that wanted a bit more of a challenge. The ability to ascend our weapons through RNG and some abilities. The addition of the Death Tides PvP mode, which is still a work in progress. Hopefully they'll continue to tweak Death Tides, as well as add new maps and modes to the PvP version of Skull and Bones. The ships added so far in year 2 include the Schooner last season and the Frigate, the first player-owned large ship in the game, along with the DMC Wolf's Hollow Mega Fort. And coming soon, we are going to initiate the faction war between the French and the Dutch, where we'll be able to pick a side in the war between the Companion and the DMC. Plus, we've also had some pretty decent time-limited events, including the Manic Moonshiner event going on right now. And one other thing that a lot of us Kingpins really did appreciate was no more manufactory or pieces of 8 resets from season to season. We could keep the manufactories that we had built up in the previous season going forward, as well as all the pieces of 8 that we had earned and had yet to spend. And there's still more to come when it comes to year 2, including some events in the very near future: Gloria Dawn, along with the Dark Tide Lullaby, which is probably going to be the new Halloween event. And then beyond that, we're going to finally get land combat missions in the game, where you'll be able to actually fight on land with melee weapons like swords, axes, muskets. There's going to be an officer system. Captains will also be getting another large ship, the Corvette, and yet another sea creature to battle, the Kraken. And the fact that Skull and Bones timed out the free weekend to coincide with year 2, season 2, The launch of the Megafort as well as the brand new frigate was a brilliant decision, along with the 80% discount on the game. A lot of new players purchased it for $8 for the regular version of Skull and Bones, while other new players paid $14 US for the premium edition of Skull and Bones, which increased the player count dramatically, which is definitely a good thing for any live service game, especially one like Skull and Bones, which is going to most likely continue to rely on monies made from the Smuggler Pass as well as the store. And that's another thing that continues to improve when it comes to Skull and Bones, the cosmetics in the store. Whether it's ship cosmetics or captain cosmetics, most of them look pretty good. Some are a bit pricey, but at the end of the day, if players want to buy this ship bundle or this captain's bundle, it's their money. And like it or not, the microtransactions will hopefully ensure that Skull and Bones continues to get support beyond year 2. If there is one criticism I have about the item shop, I just wish that you could buy pieces individually, like cell colors, hull colors, figureheads, various hats, masks, etc., instead of having to buy the whole bundle. If Ubisoft made that change to the store, I think that they'd make even more money, because there's plenty of people that like certain particular items for their character or for their ship, but they're just not willing to purchase the entire bundle because sometimes it costs anywhere from $20 to $30. But that's one of the many things I hope changes before year 3. But if there is hypothetically a year 3, what would I like to see them add in 2026? Once again, if we get year 3. Obviously, more large ships. It's awesome we finally got the frigate. It is a pain to grind for it through the Smuggler's Pass as well as getting the deep iron. But I do enjoy the frigate. I'm looking forward to the Corvette coming out in the winter, probably around December. But we definitely need more large ships, like a galleon. The Flute, which is currently a large ship used by the DMC, while the Corvette is a large ship used by the French, perhaps even a ship of the line. Something else I would like to see added in year 3 is a hypothetical customizable pirate den for us. I discussed that in more detail in my Skull and Bones Needs These Things to Survive video from several months ago. Feel free and check it out if you're interested, but the long and short of it is our own personal layers similar to the Hubert Twins, Lee's layer, where you could customize it, put some shops in there, trophies, etc. Hopefully in year 3 we get a new major faction like the British Trade Alliance, the BTA, which is actually featured in the tutorial of Skull and Bones. So maybe they'll arrive in the Indian Ocean sometime in 2026. Another sea monster I would like to see in the game is a giant sperm whale, or maybe several different types of sperm whales, similar to the Megalodons, Tylosauruses, Chinese dragons. There'll probably be different versions of the Kraken. Same goes with the sperm whale, aka Moby Dick. That would be a fun fight to get into. The ability to ascend our armor as well as furniture, increasing our fleet size, and finally, deep iron. Yes, there's a few ways to get it besides the Megafort. However, I think that they should consider making it to where we could refine iron ingots into deep iron to make it easier for players to acquire deep iron in the game for frigates and most likely future large ships as well. Even if it takes between, say, 50 to 100 iron ingots to equal 1 deep iron, there's plenty of iron out there for us to go mine for, and a lot of us already have it in our warehouse. As someone who grinded the Megafort over and over and over again to get enough deep iron to fully upgrade my frigate, we definitely need another option when it comes to our ability to acquire deep iron. And refining iron ingots into deep iron makes the most sense, in my opinion. Hopefully we will get a year 3 of Skull and Bones. I firmly believe that the wind has finally hit the sails of Skull and Bones and it's starting to sell at full speed. Is it a great game or the best game ever? No. But Skull and Bones is in a way better state now than it was when it launched back in 2014. which once again is a huge thanks to everybody that works really hard on Skull and Bones at Ubisoft Singapore, as well as the loyal, growing community of Skull and Bones. Do you think Skull and Bones is heading in the right or wrong direction? And what would you like to see in year 3 of Skull and Bones? Your thoughts, views, and opinions, welcome, as always, below in the comments section.